Hello again, everyone. For those of you who don't already know, my name's Devon, and I'm here to talk about a new channel I just created called Mindmunchies. Now, the whole point of Mindmunchies is to try and delve into topics primarily focused around human nature in a more entertaining way, not just providing boring facts and figures and data that gets really dry and makes us all want to go and have nap time. That's not my intention. I want to talk about a subject that's rather complex, but I want to do it in a very simple, straightforward, entertaining way to make it easier to digest. Now, some of you out there are probably thinking, well, what do we need human nature for? We all know that. Well, the stuff I'm going to talk about isn't the simple, basic, everyday things that we see. I'm talking about the deep down stuff, the things we don't see. And that's really important because that deep down stuff, that really, really deep stuff, it's the same for each and every last one of us on this entire planet. Doesn't matter what race we are, or age, or sex, or creed, or color, or orientation, or any of it. It's all the same. Now you might be thinking, well, you're just saying we're all identical. Well, just as we all have a heart, we all have lungs, and a liver, and a spleen, and skin, and muscles, and bones. We're all vastly different people, even though we're made up of the same pieces. And human nature is just another one of those pieces that's underneath it all, that's hidden within the depths of the mind, if you will. So that's what I'm going to talk about in Mind Munchies, is human nature and various topics related to it. So to start, I figured it was kind of important as part of my intro to Mind Munchies that I should explain what human nature really is, not just what it's all about. Because obviously, if we're going to be talking about it, kind of better to know what it is we're talking about. So to explain human nature, I'm going to find an example that works, that's fairly easy for most people to understand. And well, since we're online, it made more sense to use the computer as the basic example. Now, the computer is actually a really good mirror of life, of human life especially, because just like we have the computer, which does all the work, it does it behind the scenes. What we see are the things that we interact with, the keyboard, the mouse, the screen. That's what we see, and that's like life itself. The things we see and touch and interact with are there, and the rest is hidden behind the scenes, right? So computers are really good that way. Now, I'm going to talk about Windows-based because that's what I'm familiar with, and I'm not really up on Mac, so I don't know if they use some of the same features or not, so bear with me. But, of course, as every Windows-based computer, it all comes with the program, obviously, Windows. Now, Windows isn't actually the program that's telling the computer how to do everything. It's a user interface. It's just the thing that's there to interact between another program and you to make it so that it translates into a simpler aspect. The program underneath Windows is another one called DOS, which simply is a direct operating system. Now, for those of you, and like myself, that are familiar with DOS, it was a pretty boring program. There was no flash, there was no pictures, it was just big, long, huge strings of letters and numbers, and that was pretty much it. So, thankfully, somebody kind of decided that, it'd be a smart idea to do something better with this, and there was a couple other programs that came out before Windows that, obviously Windows won out because it was the best of the bunch. Now, that's important because what's really happening when you're interacting with Windows, Windows is interacting with DOS, and it's DOS that's actually telling the computer what to do and how to operate. And like I said, it's a very good mirror of the mind and life. Because just like life, we're interacting with the things we can see that interacts with things we can't see to create further things that make everything happen. Now, that's where we get into issues with the brain and the mind and the distinctions between them. So the point is that with things like psychology, you might be thinking, well, that's pretty similar to human nature, right? There's a lot of overlap, just as with everything else. Like the things you do in life, the interaction creates other things, and there's a connection, but there's a lot of differences too. And psychology is a field that tends to focus more on the Windows universe, if you will. It tends to focus on the surface, observable things. And occasionally it does go into human nature, and occasionally it goes into it fairly well. But it doesn't do it always, and it doesn't always go as deep as it could. because obviously there's some limitations to human nature that I'm going to hopefully help open the door to. So remember, just think of it this way, that human nature is really about the operating system of life, the human operating system. And just like Windows, our life is simply the interaction that we have with that program. And it's that program that really shapes our thinking and our bodies and our physiology and our mindsets and all of it. It's all interconnected to that program, to that operating system. And so obviously, that's the basics of human nature. As I said, it's a very complex topic, and I hope to make it simple and entertaining, and hopefully that was both simple and entertaining and enough informative to give you a really good idea of what it's all about. So that's the basics. So my plan with Mind Munchies is to go and talk about a lot of other topics that will expand on that basic, that will add more information and insights to help you better understand your life and thereby understand everyone else's life. Because, as I said, the underlying is all the same regardless of who we are or where we come from. So in the next little while, I'm going to try and clear up some of the misinterpretations and misconceptions that exist out there. And I'm also hoping to maybe clear up some issues that exist with psychology itself. I know there's a couple big debates about certain topics like nurture versus nature, and well, there's pieces missing that I'm hoping human nature will help even let the professionals know that there's other options out there. There's more than just those two simple options. And I'll talk about that soon. So come watch Mind Munchies, get involved. I'm going to try and have some interactive things as well, not just simply me zoning on and talk, because that's not very fun for very long, and we all know that. So come to Mind Munchies, interact, share your thoughts, comment freely. That's what it's here for. So come, view, enjoy. Thank you.